Real estate investing is changing fast, and if you don't adapt, you're going to be left behind. The old way of doing things, manual deal sourcing, cold calling, relying on outdated market data, is slow and inefficient. Meanwhile, AI is helping investors find off-market deals faster. They can underwrite properties instantly and even predict market shifts before they happen. Big hedge fund, tech-driven investors, they're already using AI to scoop up the best deals before you even hear about them. If you're still relying on traditional methods, you're competing at a disadvantage. Because let's be real, AI isn't coming for real estate. It's already here. The question is, are you going to use it to win, or are you going to use it to get left behind? I'm going to go over how I'm using AI in my real estate business with over 10,000 apartments and 300 employees right now. Where AI is taking real estate in the next 5 to 10 years, and how beginners and experts can leverage AI to grow their portfolios. There are 4 big ways that real estate investing is changing. The first one is market analysis. Now, the traditional way is to go fly to a market, go meet with a bunch of people, go get the data, which is typically in print or sometimes online and sometimes extremely outdated. Try to put all that together in some kind of a report, then have a meeting, and then pick a market, and then go start buying and start to figure out the truth. Now we're starting to see all that information wrapped up inside of AI. Things like, where are people moving? Why are they moving? How many out-of-state driver's licenses are being turned in? Who's buying properties? Who's renting? What submarkets are they moving to? What neighborhoods are they moving to? And what are the rents? And where are the rents going? Are they going up? Are they going down? Are there concessions in the marketplace? Now, all this information is already mostly online. So now AI has the ability to take all that information and make your job even more efficient and save hours and hours of time and money, and especially other people's time, to try to figure out what markets you should be buying. What markets, what zip codes, what cities, what regions you should be buying in. Because don't forget, real estate is all about people. Where are people headed? If there's no people, it's harder to do deals. It's harder to rent them, and it's harder to keep them. With all things real estate, you need to be where people are headed. Because once you have this information, then you can make really good predictions and trends on where things are going, and you can put those into your underwriting and all the data that you're doing currently. Then you can put those right into your underwriting and your assumptions for when you're presenting on deals. One great example is one of the pieces of data that we track are moving trucks. That's U-Haul, North American Van Lines, Ryder trucks. You think of all those things. So when you're looking at a data point, when somebody's moving, let's say, from Seattle to Phoenix one way, you can assume that they're probably moving. While it's not perfect, having that information is great. Having it in multiple places requires extra manual work. So now having AI to be able to extract all that data and do all the work for you saves a lot of time and money. The second is property analysis. And once you pick the market, you then now pick the property. And I talk about this in my first book, The ABCs of Real Estate Investing. The market is far more important than the property, but the property is important. And what we just saw was a lot of people overpaying for things because of bad data and bad assumptions. So the property data business is already starting to merge. Think about all the information that's available. You can have actual tenant information. Who are they? How much do they make? What do their businesses do? Are they salary? Are they hourly? How long have they worked there? You can actually figure out the quality of your tenants. With regard to rents, you can see how many 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms are in a certain market, for example, and what's coming, what's being constructed, and how many units of each type are going to be delivered in your submarket. Because all that information is important as you're trying to analyze your occupancy, your rent growth, your concessions, all those kinds of things. Think of expenses. Things that are online already, like utilities and property taxes, insurance, all of the things you would buy to help maintain a property, all online already. Property analysis is already in the process of fine-tuning all these things, which will make it easier for the investor to put together their underwriting when it comes to income and expenses. The third one is property management, and this is the one that I'm most excited about, probably because I have almost 300 people in a property management company. Even I have old systems because I started in this business 30 years ago. So we have old accounting systems and old processes. You can imagine just things like how much mail gets delivered to my receptionist every single day and how inefficient that process is, of all of it moving through my company to get coded and then potentially even a paper check cut just to pay a vendor. All of that requires people, hands, time, thinking, and expense. So it's the same way at a property level. There's a lot of time spent with leasing and tours and the paperwork with lease negotiations and all the things that are required from a tenant standpoint and from a landlord standpoint, or from a seller standpoint and a buyer standpoint. All of that is getting now wrapped up into really efficient property management techniques that are all moving toward AI. It'll make it so much better for the tenants, or maybe they just have maintenance requests, and make it so much easier to manage on the property management side. Probably the biggest opportunity is going to be all the work around accounting. If you think about it, for example, we have over 10,000 tenants. That means that 10,000 people come in to the offices or pay online each and every month. That requires an enormous amount of accounting. Or just think of all the vendors that get paid, the people that show up each and every day to mow the lawns and cut the grass or paint the insides of the units or do electrical or plumbing or whatever that is. And all of that is going to be much, much more efficient. And it's going to be better on both sides. The landlords are going to have better data, and the tenants are going to have better data about the landlords, and they're going to communicate a lot better. Because as we know, most issues that we see in property management are typically communication-related issues. The fourth one is customer service. Now, this could be for new tenants, let's say, if you're trying to attract tenants. On the sales side, we're already seeing a tremendous way of using AI to attract new tenants to keep our properties full and occupied. And also, who are the tenants? What are their credit scores? And do we even want to rent to them? And on the other side of that, same thing for them. Is this a place I want to live? Who are the landlords? Are the landlords good landlords or not good landlords? All that stuff is going to be great from a customer service standpoint. And of course, from attracting new tenants. The other side of that is our existing customers. That could be investors, that could be vendors, that could be our employees, that could be our tenants, it could be our residents of the property, it could be whoever. All of those people have needs from time to time. It doesn't really matter what it is, but AI is going to automate the process so they can get very quick responses. And once you set all this up, then it's just plug and play. Each of these things I just mentioned, especially on customer service and property management, is primarily people-driven. And as we start to see these systems, processes, and these tech companies come out with new and improved and better technology, then what's going to happen is the communication issues between the tenant, the landlord, the buyer, and the seller, all of that is going to settle down. And things like the legal process for PPMs, private placement memorandums, or purchase and sale agreements, or letter of intents, all that stuff is now moving toward AI. And we're going to start to see even a reduction for our needs with the high cost of using attorneys. The residential real estate agent is seeing this right now. Now, most residential real estate agents tend to be a little bit younger. A lot of them come into the residential space to start to try to understand real estate. And I look at them no different the way that I look at the travel agents when I was a young person. Now, many of you might not even know that we had travel agents way back in the day, but there was a time where you could not book an airline, hotel, or car online. And the internet changed all that. And so the real estate agent or the travel agent, they're going to actually be stressed. The roles that they play are going to be significantly reduced over the next 10-year period, because the listing of a house or booking of a room, it's all been commoditized. It's going to make it super easy for the consumer. Even though the real estate agents are going to fight me on this, I'm telling you, for those of you that never knew what a travel agent is, just look it up. Because before you were born, everyone used travel agents. And I believe that whether it's the financial services industry, for life insurance or wealth management or real estate agents, those kinds of things are going to get commoditized. There's going to be companies that make it a lot easier for those kinds of things to be purchased online without a middleman. I believe that most home sales will happen online. I'm talking about for listings, buying, mortgages, potentially even title work could happen online. You're going to see most legal work will happen online. So anything that you need, as a lot of you guys know, you can go online right now and use AI and get purchase and sale contracts as an example. All that is going to be commoditized and moved online. That's going to be much more efficient. The next thing that will happen is the commercial real estate will move online. A lot of these commercial and mortgage brokers get paid very large commissions. I'm predicting that will be severely reduced significantly over the next 10 years. Now you don't need those big fees just to go out and look at properties or to get a loan. Real estate brokers, mortgage brokers, title companies, all that stuff is going to get commoditized, and it's going to be super easy for the consumer to be able to buy and sell their own real estate. Real estate investing is also going to get much, much easier for the common person that wants to invest in something big. So right now, as many of you might know, investing in big apartment buildings were outside of people's reach. My prediction is another thing that's going to happen, those big investments are going to make their way down to Main Street. They're going to move from Wall Street to Main Street. So you're also going to see that as a trend. So you're going to see people with 10 grand, 20 grand, 50 grand be able to invest in some of these big apartment buildings, just like Wall Street does today. So if you're starting out today real estate investing, you're actually at a huge advantage, an old guy like me. Because one of the things I have, the resistance of all the people that work for me that have systems in place. And so anybody that starts a business now or has started a business recently is managing it extremely differently. They're using apps, they're using virtual assistants, they're using consultants, whereas some of the older, more established companies have big staffs and old processes. While you might think that some of these old established companies have an advantage, I can assure you they do not, because soon you're going to have the exact same information and the playing field is going to be level, whether you're just starting or you've been in the business for years. But while AI is changing real estate, there is one thing that it will never be able to do. Think like an investor. In 2014, I bought a negative cash flowing boutique hotel in Sedona for $6.5 million. Everyone told me I was crazy and that it was a terrible idea. Today it's worth over $50 million and it makes millions of dollars a year. In this next video, I'll walk you through why I bought this resort that was losing money, the 5 strategies I used to make it profitable. If you want to see how I transformed this property, click here.